Each person in a marriage brings a set of friends and a background of engaging in leisure activities which has been pleasurable. This may not necessarily be completely compatible with a new spouse. Couples should discuss how they feel about each other having separate time to see their own friends or do things each has come to enjoy. Resentment can build if one person feels everything should be experienced as a married couple, while the other wants to continue seeing his or her friends for a movie, a round of golf, or a night out. Similarly, how each person feels about the other seeing a former boyfriend or girlfriend should be explored, as well as how each feels about the other casually seeing someone of the opposite gender for lunch or a drink after work. Expecting a spouse to give up long-time friends and activities is usually not realistic. Discuss how you plan to get the most out of your time together and what is reasonable for spending time apart. Marriage requires a significant investment of time and energy from both spouses, and when time isn't being balanced effectively, it can throw everything out of sync. A successful marriage involves spending quality time with each other, engaging in shared activities, and creating new experiences together. Without proper time management, the demands of work, household chores, and other responsibilities can quickly become overwhelming, leaving little time or energy for the relationship. According to the relationship experts, one option is to divide your time with and without your partner 70-30. This means that ideally, you should spend 70% of your time together and 30% of your time apart. It's perfectly natural to have different interests and commitments even while in a committed relationship. This shouldn't be used as an excuse to not spend time with your partner as much as you can. Relationships need quality time to grow and develop into something that lasts long. Try to organize date nights with your partner. Do not hesitate to communicate with them and find a balance between each other's schedules and commitments.
This is Family and Values, and yes, like you heard that, personal time. Now we have two guests in the house, and of course we have Evangelist Morolayo Oladipo. She's an author, a marriage and relationship expert. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to have you, not behind the camera now, me. It's good to have you seated, directly.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And of course, we have Mofolushade Shonaike. I got that right?
Yes,
yeah, she's a women's rights advocate and a personal branding coach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. You look fabulous. I love anyone on natural dreads, actually. So yes, we're talking about managing personal time in relationship and marriage. I want to first start with this angle. Now, a lot of people have this idea that before you get married, you can bring your friends over to the house, you can have the boys' time, you can have the girls' time, you understand. But some people lose that personal time with their spouse because you find out that when they get married, they still always, I'm not saying don't have the boys hang out or the girls hang out, but some people, it's like they've lost that personal time for their spouse, whereby they're supposed to spend the time together, then they bring their friends over again, like there's a continuity of what was happening in relationship. They bring it into the marriage. And of course, yesterday we had Yinka Davis in the house, and she said whatever you have started in your relationship, if you don't cut it and draw the line, it will continue into your marriage and it will even be worse. So in that situation now, how best can you manage such a partner that, still continues what was doing in the relationship and brings it to the marriage, and it even gets worse? Then there is no time for the wife. It's always the boys watching football, playing together and whatever. Let me start with you. What's your take? How do they manage that?
Okay. For me, there is room for communication in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of the level you are doing the boys hangout or girls hangout with your friends. So for me, like, my friends are guys. So I met my husband through my friends. So it's really easy for me to navigate that.
Okay.
I remember when we got married, my mom came to visit us in the house, and there's so much boys in the house, and she was like, I thought you guys are married. Why? Of course, she knows all of them. Why all these people still staying here? Like, okay. They just came to visit, and actually they've been staying with him before I came in. And right now, my job took me to the north. So for us, house is in the north. So that's why I still feel hanging around with his friends, because I'm not based in Lagos. I used to come visiting and all that. So that's much easier. But as time goes on and we're settling into the marriage, of course, the reasonable ones among them knew they have to take their leave. And so everybody found their level. And so with him, for me in particular, and the nature of my husband's job, his jobs take him all around and all that. So most of the time, we're not together.
Okay.
So personal time for two of us is when I visit him, that's our personal time together. And so when he visits me, is our personal time together. Yes.
Oh, great. So I want to ask you now, when the men are coming, like she said, you know, a lot of men are now coming in, you know, it now look as if the space you're supposed to have with your partner is the space his friends are taking over. At that point, what do you do? What is the best way to go around it?
Well, first of all, I was going to say that I'm big on intentional living. Marriage does not change anybody.
Right.
Right? So even before marriage, what you would not accept after marriage, better know that. Don't take it while you're dating. So don't go for someone who is a people person, because this thing is not even just about friends. Like, I am married to someone who's like a pastor. Pastor is for everybody.
Abi?
So how am I supposed to handle that?
Oh.
Right? So the thing is, you have to know where your limits are. I mean, before you marry somebody, know that, okay, this is this kind of person. Can I deal with it? No. I mean, and then you have to also be sure that the person respects you for who you are, and you are intentional about making out time to spend time together and bond. Because the relationship you have with your partner is different from the relationship the partner has with friends or all those other people. And sometimes those other relationships give balance. You will see some women that we say, okay, my husband must not go out. No boys time out. No. Whoa. The husband talk, the corner that he will corner more because sometimes he needs it to clear his head, of course, to decongest, to decompress. Do you understand? So it's striking that balance that is important. You cannot change somebody after marriage. So if that's how they were before marriage, don't think that
don't
when
think you
I
will
marry
change them.
Lock him up. He's not
You're going to be the lord of the house.
You'll be frustrated.
Exactly.
Okay, now the next question is, how much time should couples have with and without themselves? Like, is there a range to it? Like, okay, like, what are the times the couples need to be together and the times that they need to be about? So how long do you think this should take?
For me, I think it depends on the individual. Because you have to be intentional about yourself. For me, because of the nature of my husband's job, like I said, anytime I have with him, I want to be with him.
Okay.
Because we are not always staying together. Do you understand? Because of some kind of job, your husband will be out there and you will be at home. So for me, whenever he's around, I want to be around him. And at the same time, he too wants to catch up with some friends in the location. You know, he's been away and he's back. He wants to catch up with friends and all that. So maybe the first 2-3 days we want to be together. So we'll have enough time for each other to pray, to talk, to catch up with things we've not been able to talk about. You know, there's conversation on the phone and there's heart-to-heart conversation and all that. So whenever he's around, I want to have time with him at that time. So all my focus, I shut down every other social activity or any other activity around me, and I'm focusing on him. And I remember the early part of our marriage, I used to have a business center like in my BQ. I remember when he was working around in Lagos then. When he's coming back from work, I have this mentality. I shut down whatever customer is with me, whoever is with me, I shut down and I just focus on him. I leave them in the shop, they know, I just leave them there and I just walk up straight to him, welcome him, pick up his bag, follow him straight upstairs. So for the next 30 minutes, I'm just loving around him. I'm just showing him love. I'm just saying, you know what, you're back from work, how's the day and all that. So that's for me. But sometimes, you know, you want to have time with your friends. I'm a people's person. He too is a people's person in his own, you know, area and all that. I think we have things in common. We are people's person. So when my friends are around, he knows most of my friends. I know most of his friends. Like I said, we got connected through, you know, group of friends and all that. So it's not anything challenging. Whenever I'm saying, oh, I'm hanging out with my friends, I mention their name. Oh, okay, go have fun. Of course, he knows them. And whenever he too is going out, oh, I'm going out. Of course, I know. And it gives you, you know, connecting together because he's gone out with his friends, I'm gone out with my friends. We'll come back to connect, you know, and be together. So we need to be intentional in having timetable, or we talk about it to say, okay, maybe this weekend or 2 weekends in a month or 1 weekend in a month, we want to
Personal
have
time together.
personal time together. Okay, this Sunday, when we're coming from church, we're going to be together without having any visitor coming in. It's just the two of us.
Two of us.
Yeah.
Okay. So, they think that they have to communicate with each other. Okay.
Having a time together, so time. We're intentional, we have a schedule, and we keep to the schedule.
Okay. So do you have something to add to that, or it works differently for you? How?
You know, so I agree with her that
Okay.
it depends on the relationship.
Okay.
You know, depending on the kind of relationship. There's no fixed ratio. It's really all about being intentional, communicating, and yeah, you can share hobbies too. So like if you have things that two of you do together that you love, take out time to do those things, to nurture and to nourish your relationship.
Okay, great. Now, personal time is important. Me, I believe in creating memories a whole lot, because sometimes when you are passing through those very difficult moments, sometimes those personal memories, those sweet memories, I feel like the things that just probably gives you this little glimpse of hope, I guess, that will make you, you know, want to still fight a little more. Like, okay, let's just pass through this. There's a good time, there's a bad time. Now, how do couples create this personal time? You just mentioned that by communication. Now, what are the dangers in not actually having personal time with yourself? Not your own being alone. Now, both of you as a couple, what's the danger if one does not actually have personal time to share together whatever memories they want to create for themselves? What are the dangers that one could actually fall into or foresee in the future if you don't have that?
For me, that is very, very, very difficult to talk about or to say. But at the end of the day, not having personal time together brings in resentment, bitterness, and it brings in like depression. Yes.
Really?
It could bring in depression. You know, you are feeling, you want to be with your man, you want to be with your wife, and the wife is not giving you attention. The husband is saying, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. For crying out loud, what are you busy doing? It's the same work. Because at the end of the day, it will be work, 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 work. Work will never end. So, but I want to have time with you. You find out that I'm not talking again in the house. I'm getting moody.
Okay.
Yeah, the mood comes up. Before you know it, you're affecting our connectivity as husband and wife. Because you have not listened to me that I want to have a personal time with you. Maybe at night, you know, I want to say, okay, let's
do something.
I would like, okay.
For what?
As a child of God, I will not, you know, resist, because the Bible makes me to understand that I shouldn't resist my husband. But at the end of the day, you know, the way you feel relaxed with him, the way you want to be relaxed and enjoy yourself, you'll be moody. You'll be trying to, we throw tantrums. You'll be feeling, you just want to show him that there's something wrong somewhere. And you'll be like, what's wrong with you? You still want to talk about that thing. It's about that thing. And he's saying, okay, we'll talk about it later. Okay, we'll talk about it later. You know, a lot of things can come up through that. I can be nasty. I can be, you know, saying no. I can be saying give and take. Tell me, let's have a concrete decision to say, okay, this is what we are doing after this. So before you know it now, you're not placing a demand on an issue that is not supposed to be. So I'm not taking you to say, okay, if you want to have me, we need to do this, which is not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be. So it can bring in a lot of things. Bitterness, anger, resentment, that can lead to depression. And before you know it, they might be drifting off.
Right.
It can bring into separation gradually. Gradual separation.
If in fact, sometimes it could lead to you not having even emotional attachment to the person again.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
wow.
if it's somebody that keeps malice, they will start.
You have given the person a push button.
Push button. They'll do that. They'll start doing that.
Wow. Okay, you want to add something, because I noticed you.
Because I was feeling that resentment. It's very easy to build those things, and it's just little by little by little. Maybe you try to say something, and it's as if, oh, this person is not even listening to me. Because we all go through different things. And another risk that she didn't mention is you can now find succor in someone else. and that's how the door begins to open.
Before you know
to
it,
other things.
infidelity
Because-
comes in.
Yes, because you know when something is heavy in your heart, maybe you're rushing home, oh, I want to discuss this with my partner, and the person is emotionally unavailable. And someone just gives you an air. And you start from confiding to...
Before you know.
Yeah, that is one challenge that can happen. Another thing is usually when it's scriptural, when you harbor bitterness, resentment, and all that, good things do not happen to you.
Exactly.
Relationships, marriage is meant to be a partnership. You're supposed to be a team. And when you work together as a team, you attract favor, you attract good things. But the moment people are harboring resentment in a marriage, you just see things going wrong.
Wrong,
Exactly.
right.
Things won't work out for them. You're just like, wow, this man is so hardworking, this woman is so hardworking, yet they've not been able to achieve any because you can't. The Bible says, except to agree. They
Yes.
can, so there's no agreement
Agreements.
there. This one is doing his own, that
They're
one is
doing
doing
your
their own. You can't really gather and
At
build
all.
anything on that. And it will affect
The children, which is very important.
because children do what they see, not what you say.
Yes.
So you can be sitting there and telling them, oh, you should love yourself. But they look at the relationship.
Just if
between
you have.
They look at the body language. They look at what is going and they're absorbing all of this. And then the vicious cycle continues.
Wow.
So sometimes when I want to push people to say the motivation for you to change is do it for your children.
Right.
Fix this relationship for your children.
Children.
Because you think they don't know, you think they don't notice, but they know.
Notice.
They can see the relationship and they're soaking it in and they think that that's normal.
And when they grow up, they
They
tend
attract
to,
something,
yes.
they attract what is familiar.
Exactly.
So they'll be attracting an emotionally unavailable person because they think that that's the norm. And when they go
That
in,
is
they are
deep.
in pain, they're like, oh, what's, but because that's what they're used to.
See. Wow. So we have to be very careful when we're
Yes.
doing all of these things
Yes.
in front of the kids. Okay, now another side of the question I want to bring is there are some men that really like their personal space.
yeah.
Especially men, not even really. We have some women too that likes personal space a whole lot.
Yes,
But you see, it is more on the men's side. They just, I feel they are wired. Although Azum guess is a man because this question is actually supposed to be for him because it's a thing I don't understand yet. They like their personal space a whole lot. But I've noticed that when they even like this personal space, their friends can come into that personal space and they are cool. But you see, when it comes to their woman entering that personal space is a problem. But they were like, but when you ask them like, but you know, I'm chilling with my guys now, it's cool, you know, I just want to have some time to myself. You want to have some time to yourself, but your guys are coming in. You want to have some time to yourself, when I come in, it's a problem. I don't know.
Jump on there.
Yes, please. So I want you to actually jump on that because I want to know what is the problem.
I
And
jump
you
on
know,
this because I did engineering, so I grew
Okay.
up, I mean, I was raised with, I grew up with boys,
Boys.
in IT. I know how boys. So you see, the thing about your wife, your significant other, your partner, whatever it is it is emotional. You are emotionally vested in that time that you're spending with the person. I mean, it's not autopilot. You are giving of yourself. You have to be present. So when that me time, men sometimes you just need to clear their head because a lot of times so much is going on in their head. Women sometimes we think we assume, we make assumptions. So you say, he's moody, he's not talking to me, he's not this, maybe he's angry with me. He's not angry with you. There's just so much.
he's just so much on his head.
And many men are raised to process things internally.
Yes.
You know, as a woman, maybe when you're heavy, you're just looking for the next person to talk to.
to.
But they process internally. And, you know, a friend can come in and it's just autopilot. There's no emotional
Attachment
Yes.
or involvement.
to that, or
yes.
involvement to that. So it's even in your best interest when they need that space. to
Space,
give them
yeah.
that space.
Exactly.
Because you will come, you're talking to him, he's not looking at you,
He's not
answering.
responding.
You even, that's when you even have
Get
the
more
resentment
angry.
and the anger. Why don't you just stay? Let him clear his head
And come back to you.
and come back when he's able to give you himself and be there. You know, so the relationship with, like I said, the relationship with your spouse is different from the relationship you have with friends and whatever, you know. So we have to understand that men are wired
Differently.
women are wired differently,
Differently.
and that's me time is very
Very
important.
important.
Except you want a grouchy
Grouchy man.
allow them
Allow him to breathe.
Allow him.
exactly to breathe.
Okay, now let me ask you from the woman angle now. When a woman wants, there are some women that actually need more personal space than some men. You see some women be like, please, I don't like being around my man a whole lot. I just like him away, you know. I like seeing him once in a while, you know. So I will have this feeling of, oh, I want to be around you, but once they see you too often, it's a problem. Now, what advice will you give to a woman at that stage? Because it's even more, I feel like it's even more dangerous, because at that point you're pushing that man outside, because he's going to look for somebody that can give him the attention that he needs. So what advice will you give to a lady in that position?
Okay, the advice I'll give to a lady in that position is to just be intentional. Be intentional in giving him that time. You know, if he wants you around him, is a plus for you. Just be around him at that time. Make him happy. And then, you know, study him, see what he wants and what is actually looking out for you for. What does he really want you to be doing around him? So study. When you get it, just give it to him at that time. Give it to him at that time, and let him continue to flow like that, so that you won't lose him, like you rightly said. Because if you lose him out there, it's dangerous, very dangerous. Because it's going to be very difficult for you to get him back. Get him back.
Because
and
you don't have the memories.
Exactly. And there's so many people out there that are waiting to, like,
you
know, grab your man. So if you
grab
don't want
your
to
copy,
grab your hair. So just be there, you know, listen to him, give him what he wants. That's why you are there, as his helpmate. That's your first call of assignment. That's your divine assignment from heaven. So just be there. Make sure you give him whatever he wants. It might not be suitable for you, but you can talk about it. Communication. Talk about it. Okay, this is how often I want you to be around me. Okay, fine. I'll be able to do this, this, and that. And can we reach an agreement? Oh, I want you around me like 3 times a week, 2 times a week to have personal time with me. Okay, I can do just 2 times a week. And you know, he will build himself up to accept that, and before you know it, you just start flowing and all that. So it's very, very important.
Okay, well, I hope we ladies and men are actually listening to this advice, because I'm also learning, because I usually used to have problem with when men say personal time, and the next thing I'm seeing you're playing with your guys. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Do I have a problem? Why would you tell me you need your personal time and you don't want me around? So it's a whole lot of things where we need to understand that we all need our own personal time. Even you as a lady, that you want your man always around, abokoku, whatever you call them, they call them. Yes. Yeah, you just need to have your own. You need to think sometimes for yourself. You need to sit down, think, refresh your memories.
Meditate.
Yes, meditate. You can even pray, whatever it is, read. You know, it mustn't always be husband, boyfriend. Anyway, like, I'm not saying, it's not me, it's the expert that is actually saying.
No, and I must add that.
Okay, please.
If as a person, so I won't say woman or man, if as a person, you derive your joy and your fulfillment from another human, you will never be happy. Right? God is the only source of joy.
Exactly.
That person is not God. So first of all, you're placing a high demand on that person, and it's unfair to that person, because that person is only human. And then you are depriving yourself of true joy. Because we are all human, we are infallible. As a woman, sometimes you're just not in the mood for something, you're not in the mood. Finish. You're not in the mood to hang out. You just want your space. And you have to be able to deal with it. As a man too, maybe sometimes you're not in the mood. The woman has to be able to deal with it. But those who have already hung their lives on everything to that person, they are thrown off, and they cannot
do anything on their own
about it. So the fact that you're getting married does not mean that now all of my joy, all of my hope is on that person. It's unfair to you and unfair to
him.
Person. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, to actually, before we go for our Zoom break, quickly give us the gist about Lagos Family Show. I like to keep hearing about that show, because we just need to tell everyone about it, because it's still about family and it's about value, right? So please, you have the platform. Let us hear.
So the Lagos Family Show is something that has been cooking for a while. It's an opportunity to bring that foundation that we had as Nigerians back to the surface, and bring it in a fun and entertaining way. You know, there's nothing like having your identity, having your source. And a lot of the problems we have in Nigeria right now is because we have moved away, we've deviated from who we are. We don't even know who we are anymore.
Right.
You ask somebody, but you know, people don't even know who they are. And it's beautiful because it's something we're doing in Lagos, because Lagos is like the New York of the United States, where we have people from all tribes, all religions and whatever in one place. Lagos is very accommodating and all of that. So we're bringing people from different tribes, and we would showcase the richness of each culture, the richness of the heritage of each culture. And it's something to look forward to. I'm looking forward to it as well.
I want to add now, I want to ask rather, what is the benefit? You know, we have personal space and we talked about that. Now, what is the benefit of having personal space? I'm not talking about the couple now. Your own personal space and giving your man his personal space. What are the benefits? Because some people don't still get it. Some people, yes, they believe, okay, I'll give him some space, but they don't really understand why it is very important for your spouse and yourself to have personal space. So maybe if they get to know the benefits, they will definitely understand and know that it's not a big deal when you give your spouse or your partner, you know, the space that they need. So what are the benefits?
Okay, one of the benefits of having personal space is you have time to rewind. You have time to yourself. You have time with your maker, your creator. For me, I love my personal space and time, you know. Sometimes I take time. I can remember like 2 years ago, I told my husband I was going on a prayer retreat. And I went, you know, for like, he was asking me, what do you need, and gave me everything. And I went for like a week. It was fun for me, you know. Personal time with God, pray, read, you know, see places, unwind, rewind and unwind, you know, and all that. And I came back and I was really feeling refreshed. And there's something he actually did at that time. I didn't know he actually programmed it. By the time I got back, my car was resprayed, the house was refurbished, and everything. That was a surprise for me. And I really appreciated that time. So like, I went away, came back into a new, beautiful environment.
Wow.
Beautiful. So for me, it was, oh my God, coming back home, I'm like, really? Really? So that personal time with yourself, there's a lot of benefits. It brings about joy, brings about refreshment, brings about, you know, bring you back afresh. You are, you know, like rewind, and you're sounding really nice to yourself and even to the community. So you're coming back to relate in a new self of you, coming to relate with your husband, you know, with excitement. I got back home, I was just happy. Everywhere is glittering, everywhere is looking fine. And like, oh my God, I look at my car, wow, beautiful and all that. So it brings about joy and rejoicing, brings about happiness, and brings more love. There's another feeling that came to me. After I came back, I was full of love. And I said to myself, oh, is this how I'm being loved? So he loved me to this extent that he had to do all this for me again without me expecting it. So it was like a shock, a surprise to me. And I was like, oh God, Father, I thank you. Thank you for my husband. Thank you for my husband and all that. So having personal time, you know, brings joy. Happiness, and a lot of things. Yes.
Yeah, I want to come from another angle now. How about those people that say, okay, I want to have personal space. She travels or he travels, wherever, but at that point they are just not together. And when they come back, he's now war. It's like you're meeting another different partner. What happens? Because a lot of people, yes, personal space helps. And some people will just travel and it's look as if they are thinking they now have to go and reset themselves to probably factory setting. They will come back, they're a whole new being. They don't tolerate some things that you're doing anymore. They probably maybe have seen that, oh, so all these things have been taken from this man. This is not actually who I am. This is not who this is not actually who I was. So I can't take it anymore. I think I want to separate from my husband. At this point, what advice will you give to both couples or both partners? Because at this point, it seems like it's a dead end because of just one personal space that they had. You know, there are some persons, why I'm saying this is that some persons I've met, they don't like that personal space. They want it, they can give you, but they don't want it to take too long because they feel that when you take too long, they look for other things to put in, to fill up that space of since you're not around. And when they get used to that personal space and, you know, they keep feeling and feeling, then when you now come back and want to start acting like the partner that they expect, they're already filled. They don't need you anymore. So it becomes a thing of separation. They can't deal with it anymore. At that point, what advice will you give to both parties? Is it because you can't say it's her fault, you know, and you can't say it's his fault? So, what would you say?
I mean, you heard me say good for her. First of all, this is why the place of self-discovery before marriage is very important. There are many people who get married and they contort themselves into something else because they want to be accepted by their partner. And it's both ways, whether male or female. So somebody who comes back and realizes, I can't take them, it means that the person all along was not being themselves. And that is a toxic relationship.
Wow.
You are dying every day inside because this person thinks, who is this? I mean, is this not who I married?
Yes.
This is not you. It's because that person has just come into themselves, and this is who they are, right? And the person has built a fantasy in their head based on who you are not. Who you're not. So there are different things. It's not a dead end. It's fixable. I mean, there's counseling, there's therapy, there's all of these things. Because you know the thing about that they always say is that it's the way you train people to treat you that they will treat you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that maybe when you are in that contorted self and pretend self, and the person got used to some habits and all that, he can adjust if he's willing to fight for the marriage, right?
Yes.
But it's not about coming back now and then because they say you have changed, you now
No.
adjust back
No.
into that. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
you
yeah.
have been liberated. Stay liberated.
Stay liberated. Don't go back to the former.
To the former,
Stay
yes.
for the
The
future.
beauty of having, I mean, the beauty of a relationship is two people being able to be themselves
Self.
around each other.
Be real.
Be real.
Be real.
You're
There's
married
no-
to your friend. With all your quirks and all your
Everything.
shortcomings, they love you nonetheless. And
Yes.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
So if you have to be pretending and hiding certain things,
There's a big problem
it's a
there.
problem.
Okay, yes, our Zoom guest has finally joined. We have Dr. Olatunji Oladeji. He's a lecturer in LASUD and a filmmaker, live from Lagos. I'm sure it's even from his office. Doctor, we can have you now. Can you hear us?
All right, thank you. Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank
it's
you.
good. I know you're receiving this from your office, right?
Yes. We're about to be also.
Okay, yes. Okay, so we're talking about personal space, and we've had a lot to talk about. But I have one question first before we divert. Why is it that men enjoy their personal space more than, okay, I'm not even going to say more than women. Men enjoy their
Excited.
personal
Always
space. They are
excited.
so excited.
Excited.
Like, I want to, and the personal space they are talking about, they will still bring their friends along. They will go and play football. They won't even play game, and it's still personal space. But they will not want their woman to be in that personal space. Why is it? Why is that? Please explain to us, because we need to understand.
All right, so well, you know me that I'm a brutally honest person, so I'm going to do this to be just that. So why do men like their personal space? I think because they want to live long. Let me say that the pressure of life and pressure of running a family, just like being a president of a country or governor of a state, is intense, and you need that space to just be away from anything that will just make you think about, you know that your problems are there. You know that your responsibilities are there. You have to fix these responsibilities. But you just need that short period to just run away from reality, then come back to fix it. You know, for men, they just feel that period is just that period that you are not going to disturb them and say, okay, we need to get these things fixed. I know we are going to get these things fixed, but for now, let me not think about it. Because from research has shown that more men die in marriages, and they die on Mondays between the hours of 8 to 9. That's when the pressure of life hits most. Oh, you need to fix tuition, you need to fix this, you need to fix that, you need to fix that 1 million things at the same time. I'm not saying that women are not trying. I have to be honest. I don't know how women do their stuff, but I tried, handling the children for just 2 days, and I almost lost my mind. It's a lot of work. I almost lost my mind. I'm just going to be honest. I think my wife had a cesarean session, and I was alone with the children for like 3 days, and I prayed honestly. I said, God, I beg. I use God beg you. Make this woman not die, because it sure she has been mad. Because if I would fix noodles, I won't start crying. I want a brown plate. Like, my God, this is not just a plate. So, but for men, we can't handle pressure as much as women do, and that's just the truth. So for us, we just want that, that escape from reality for maybe for like a day or a few hours, just go take a few bottles of drink and come back and say, yes, okay, so what were you saying? Okay, we need to get 10 things fixed. Okay, let's fix 3 first. You just need to just play your head. So I think that's it. But the spouses need to understand some of these things. That, when you need your personal space, it's not as if you want to go and do something stupid. I'm not speaking for all men. I'm not holding brief for all men. I'm just speaking for myself. It's not as if you want to go and do something stupid. It's just, you just want to just clear your head at that moment and not lose your mind. Because if you don't handle it properly, if you don't handle the pressure properly, you can just wake up one morning and just wake up with, one half of your body gone.
Gone. Wow. Okay. Anyways, I don't know if we have guests in the house already. Do you have any question? You listen to that. Do you have any question for the male in the house when it comes to personal time? Is there any question that we have for him, for our guests?
Okay. I have a question for you. The question I have for you is that women, when you tell us that you want to go and have your personal time, most of the women think, oh, he's going to hook up with somebody. What do you do? I want to ask you a question. What do you do in making us feel relaxed and not having that notion that he's saying to me he's going to have his personal time, but in my head I'm thinking he's going to do something silly? How do you address that?
Okay, I'm going to be sincere here. Like I always say, once you are married to your husband, you guys are legally married and you guys have kids and all of that, why are you worried about the guy? People don't know where they go. Where is he going? Like, the dude is hooked for life. Like, even if he wants to, whatever he wants to go and do, he's going to come back. Why are you bothering your head about the poor guy? He's just let him, the short period he has to do whatever he leave him. So if you have that at the back of your mind first, you're not going to be worried about, okay, what is he doing, what is he not doing? And you'll be shocked that most times it's just to just go and drink. Now, there was a time I just needed to just have my friends, old friends from school we've not seen for like 15 years. So we left the university for about 15 years. They just came and we just insulted ourselves. It felt good. Like the same way we used to insult ourselves while we were in school, we repeated the same thing. It just felt good. And for those short periods, you discover that you live longer for just, if it's just for a few hours, because for those few hours you have somehow relieved stress. And for the wife at home, it means you have it longer. Now, when I first got married, my wife used to say, oh, you have to come home every day. As a production producer, I even came to the classroom. As a film music video director, filmmaker, we finished shoot late, maybe around 10, 11, I have to rush back home. So in a year, I ran into potholes 3 times, and I lost my tires. I one day had to sit her down. But I know you want me home every time, but I want to give you 2 options. If I keep going this way, in just about 6-7 months, I've had this incident. Do you want me back home in a body bag, or you want me home alive? She says she wants me home alive. Brilliant. So it means anywhere I get to and I feel it is not safe, let me sleep there. And I can come home the next morning knowing fully well that this man is coming home alive. He's not being brought back in a body bag. So it's not about, okay, because of trust issues and all of that the guy has to get some things done. If it is not safe for him to do those things, let him be. If he needs the personal space for him to live longer, let him be. It's just like a product. You want to enjoy the product longer. It's your husband. From research, like I said, men would die faster because of the amount of pressure and all of that. On a lighter note, my kids asked, myself and my wife, we are about the same age. Then my kids asked that, how come mommy only has 1 strand of gray on her head, or you have about 30? And I said, the reality is simple. I am the one running around like a madman. So she is not doing that. So she has lesser stress. She falls sick. She doesn't fall sick as often as I do. So if I say, okay, I need 1 day to just go and sit somewhere and just go and drink and just don't worry about anything, or just go and watch TV, let me be. Now, like I keep telling men, if your poison is video game, buy a big TV, maybe 70 inches TV and your PlayStation, and play it. For those periods that you play your PlayStation, it will extend your life. If your own is whatever it is, I don't want to say certain things on TV, do it. And whatever repercussion you get from it, you are prepared for it. So, but whatever it is that will help you take that stress away, because if you don't take that stress away, you eventually lose that man in no time.
Wow, amazing. Thank you very much, Dr. Olatunji, for that talk. It's very interesting. Honestly, I like the fact that this is coming from him, and it's so actually very nice, because this is one of the best talk I've actually heard coming from a man. And that's because, like he said, he's talking for some men. Yes. Because not all men will actually do that thing and say it's what they want to go and do. But anyways, that's all we can take for today. Thank you so much.